Moving on, we're going to be talking about Manchester United. Now, actually, the Red Devils, alongside quite a few other clubs, have decided to put their ticket prices up. What are your thoughts on that decision? And I know you've discussed in previous weeks your Sir Jim Ratcliffe analysis. What do you make of that move by United?
Well, Sir Jim, I mean, he's disappointed me. I really had high hopes for him coming in as a new owner, but he seems to have taken on so many battles. And here's another one. Already, there's a lot of fan unrest at Old Trafford about the different ticket schemes, with the cup schemes and all those sort of things that they have to buy. I know a number of Man United shareholders, season ticket holders, who really moan about the whole way that the ticket structure is there, and an additional price increase won't keep them happy, particularly on the back of last season, where they finished 8th, which is not really great enough for Man United. So he's not coming off the back of a great season. I'd have thought he might have at least stayed that sort of increase for a season to let everybody see that he's really got things rocking and rolling again, and that he could do it on the back of proven success. But no, he's gone straight ahead, firing 250 staff, or apparently cutting, which would be about 2/3 of Mason Mount's wages for a week. And that's the sort of thing that's happening at United at the moment. He seems to be very keen on stirring up the pot. I understand that he feels there's been a lethargy and, the club's been lazy in so many areas. But I don't think taking everything and every battle all the way, every day, is really the way to try and move the club forward. So I think the fan base will be pretty upset about the price increase. And we're going to see that, I'm sure. And, because they're going to be perhaps quicker to blame and to be vocal than they would have been before. And so it's not the perfect environment for Mr. Ratcliffe to go forward. So I'm watching him very closely, and he's not getting good points at the moment about how he's performing.
Do you think the new Labour government, Keith, could introduce a price cap potentially on tickets? Would there be a chance that they could do it, say, for single games or season tickets? And would that be fair, given sort of the disappointment that I think fans have shared across the league, really, with the cost increase of tickets?
Well, it's very interesting. I mean, we saw the general election last Thursday, obviously, and it did cross my mind, as it has done for a while now, that the football regulator is going to be much more likely now that, and a stronger bill, as you say, on things like pricing. I think rather than an actual cap, they may put sort of an increase cap that you may be able to put no more than 5% or something like that is a possibility. You'll have to look at how that plays out down the leagues, but certainly in the Premier League, that may be something. But again, you've got to look at regulations and see, is that possible? Is it anti-competitive to do that sort of thing? There's so many regulations now that you have to look at in terms of, and also Labour are talking about having a close relationship with Europe, which would mean perhaps more harmonisation with European law. A lot of issues around this. Football's always been allowed to act in its own way. And I'm a big fan of as little government interference as possible. And I think it's really up to clubs to put in front the product that the fans will pay for, and then deliver the quality that they want to charge the fans for. So I would hope not, but I think that certainly it's something that probably will be looked at, unfortunately.
Talking of things that have been looked at, Keith, we know the JeanClair Debo deal has been officially blocked by UEFA following their statement. What are your thoughts on their decision and sort of that ongoing process that has now led to them coming out and making this statement?
Well, it was something, again, Ratcliffe said he was going to challenge legally with this one, but it seemed pretty clear when I looked at the UEFA statutes that this was going to be a no-go, and it's been confirmed that's the case, as we said last week. So I just don't think there's any room for that. He's sailing pretty close to the wind with Nice and Man United right now. There's a lot of rumours he wants to divest himself of the Nice club, and at least bring in either minority shareholders or other people to come in and gradually, get rid of the club in some way. But certainly the sales between the two clubs, whether in the same competition, was a no-go right from the start. So I don't know why you'd pick a fight with UEFA again over something that's pretty clear when you've got other battles that you're going to be having with UEFA coming up fairly soon. So again, I'm afraid it's another negative thumbs down for Mr. Ratcliffe's start.
Now it has been officially blocked, Keith, and I know we've sort of discussed his chance to divest from Nice, but do you think now they have actually officially blocked that potential move and the pathway between clubs? Is it much more likely now that he will actually potentially sell Nice and look to fully invest in United?
Yes, I think it is. I think that's exactly the sort of thing that will push him more towards Man United. He seems to be consumed at the moment with Man United. God bless him for that. That's good, and you should be as an owner. But that's fine. But I think his bandwidth, even for Sir Jim Ratcliffe, has got a limit. And I think that Nice, while it was a great learning curve for him about football, football in France is unique. There's a lot of different challenges down there. And you've got to be able to differentiate the two clubs, the two cultures, the two whole different fan bases and societies. And it's a whole different thing. So I think he's best if he can actually divest of Nice. And if he needs to know, I've got somebody that wants to buy it. If he wants to give me a call, if he lets me know, we'll do that deal. But yes, certainly I think that would be the case, that he'd be looking to move and focus purely on Man United, which is a big enough project to work on.
And the club have bid, Keith, £50 million for Jared Branthwaite. We've seen their deal rise from 35 million, as you have discussed in previous weeks, to 50 million. What are your thoughts on their second bid?
I just laughed again. It's nowhere near a valuation of a player of that quality. He is a generational talent. I'm not being an Everton fan here. I'm just telling the truth that he is a quality player, and that's nowhere near enough. And again, it's a ridiculous way to conduct their transfer dealings. The sort of way this happens, I mean, look, when I was in the Premier League, all the chief executives and owners, you really know each other, and you get to know over the years the way that each other moves on transfers, how they negotiate. You get to understand different things. And coming in with such a low ball offer just destroys your reputation and your integrity pretty well. Everybody knows the reality of what's going to go on. Of course, there's going to be margin for negotiation. There always is, and there'll be different ways to structure things, etc. But the basic valuation, you've got to be in the ballpark to be really taken seriously, and that's going to be the issue. Look, I see Dan Ashworth is now back from his gardening leave with a lovely lawn, and we'll have to see what if he can bring some sense to the situation. But certainly, 45 plus 5 of add-ons is still laughable, and I'm afraid if they're going to get real and get taken seriously by clubs, they've got to wake up.
What would if they are to go with a third bid, Keith? What would we be expecting potentially, and actually how far off his valuation do you think they are from the current bid?
I've always said he's a 75 million base deal and 75 million plus add-ons. And I think I stated 3 or 4 months ago he was probably a 100 million package. And he is that young. He's the right age. He's got the right talent, and there's no doubt he performed superbly in the Premier League last year. I think Tarkowski and Branthwaite had the best clean sheets, I think, in the Premier League, if not the second best. And he's shown his athleticism. He's a very bright kid as well, and he's very stable and grounded. So he's everything for a centre-half package. So that's my advert finished for Jared Branthwaite, but I think he's worth the value. Certainly is.